All right, guys, here's our notes for 1.5, divide whole numbers. If you need to pause the page, go ahead. I'm only going to spend maybe a minute on each page, if that. So, first off, dividing. That is how many times a number is contained in another number. The answer is called a quotient. And you can use your multiplication chart with dividing too. So there's a cool little tool there. Okay, so our examples we did today were 216 divided by 6. So you put the little guy on the outside of the doghouse, as the term that littler kiddos say. Put your bigger number in the inside, 216. So 6 cannot be divided into 2, so we need to use 21. So 6 times 3 is 18. That gives us 3 left. Then we bring down our 6. Now we have 6 times 6 is 36. Gives us no remainder, so our answer is 36. So 6 times 36 gives us 216, and that's a way to check it. Okay, you're going to see something like this, 364 divided by 7. The 7 on the outside, the 364 on the inside. So 7 cannot go into 3, but it can go into 36 5 times, and that gives you 35. So there's 1 left. You bring down the 4. Then 7 times 2 is 14, so you're left with no remainder. Go ahead and pause it if you need to, because I'm going to switch the page. All right, let's look at this example. 25,246 divided by 7. We have, or 74, I'm sorry. We have 74 on the outside, and we have our 25,246 in the inside. 74 cannot go into 2, 25, but it can go into 252. So that's the one we're looking at, okay? So 74 goes into 252 3 times. That gives us 222. Remember, we're trying to get the closest to the 252 as we can without going over. Then we do our subtraction, and we're left with 3 and a 0. Then we had to bring down our 4. So now 74 goes into 304 4 times. It gives us a 296. We're going to do our subtraction, and we get 8. Then we bring down this 6, and we're left with 86. 74 goes into 86 1 time, and we have, so that gives us 74. We do our subtraction, and we have a remainder of 12. So your answer in the first box would be 341, and your remainder would just be 12. All right. Actually, go ahead and I'll leave the whole thing on, and then you can pause it at the end. So now that we have this example, the quotient of 384 is 32. Remember, quotient would be our answer, right? It's going to want us to translate the phrase and to simplify it. And to translate the phrase, the quotient of 384 and 332, it just looks like this. 384 divided by 32. Our and is our divided by. Now to solve that, we're going to put our 32 on the outside, our 384 on the inside. 32 cannot go into 3, but it can go into 38 1 time, so it gives us a 32. We do our subtraction, we get a 6 left. Bring down the 4. Then 32 times 2 is 64, so we have no remainder. Your answer is just 12. Go ahead and pause the page because I'll be turning it. All right, now our last thing, you're going to see the term undefined in our 1.5 this week. And all that means, when you see undefined, that means that something is divided by a 0. Okay, so undefined is division by a 0. So our example of that, if we see 7 divided by 0, it's going to be undefined because we cannot answer that. Now, if it's 0 divided by 7, we could have a 0. But any number divided by 0, your answer will be undefined. Go ahead and pause it if you need to, because I will be ending the recording.